Adventures of Irvingman!
Full disclosure, this is going to get really weird.
I have just come from the presidential palace. His Excellency is in conference with the newspaper people from the United States. Unfortunately, I left my briefcase in His Excellency's office.
There wasn't anything important in it, just a bomb set to go off at noon, and Clark knows it.
Senor White, you do us honor with your plan to publish a Latin American edition of the Daily Planet here. I can assure you of my complete cooperation.
Well, I'm counting on that, Mr. President. As I was just saying to Miss Lane and Mr. Kent.
He can hear the ticking, and his X-ray vision spots the explosive, which is why he's so fidgety. He tries every possible excuse to get everyone out of the room, but can't come up with anything sufficiently urgent. The others are busy with their meeting of the Mutual Admiration Society.
Your government is a model of progress and integrity.
You are kind to say so. Actually, our prosperity comes from the mines my country owns. The land is rich in metals.
And you use the money for the good of the people.
That's why the vice president wants to assassinate him and take over. He thinks all the money from the mines should go into his pockets, and as quick as he grabs the office, he'll sign an order to make that happen. At least that's the plan.
You see, we have every type of metal. And
Excuse me, Your Excellency. Chief, I hate to break in like this, but we have an appointment to see the building. The one you're going to buy for the new plant.
We have all day to see that building, Kent. What's the hurry? What's the matter with you?
We have to leave at once, sir. I'm sorry. But would you care to come along, Mr. President?
No, thank you. I must remain and sign a few documents.
We'll see you later. Come on, Chief. Lois, please.
Out in the hall, he says, "Oops, I forgot my hat. Go ahead, I'll catch up with you." They're baffled, but for some reason, they always end up doing what Clark says.
Brace yourself. You should blow up in a second now.
Superman!
As we saw, the vice president and his stooge are waiting to clean up the mess and assume power. How convenient that they just happen to be there.
Look, there's Patillo's office.
He must be dead. Gracias.
Por nada.
Señor Presidente, you're still alive.
Yes, thanks to Superman. He is more concerned over my welfare than certain of my own countrymen.
And as we know, no good deed goes unpunished.
Arrest him.
Arrest Superman? He's the one who saved me.
Perhaps it only looked that way. Maybe it was he who brought the bomb into your office.
Good theory. Now explain why. What does Superman have to gain from a stunt like that?
Well, but that's for the courts to decide. Arrest him.
Stop this nonsense! I forbid it!
Permit me to remind you, when an attempt is made on the life of our president, anyone with him must be arrested on suspicion. It is the law. And according to our Constitution, if you break the law, you can be removed from office.
You two were right outside the door, so shouldn't you also be arrested? Nobody will think of that. Superman says, "Fine, to protect the president, I'll submit to arrest." In jail, he asks a favor of Perry.
There's an old friend of mine back home. His name is Professor Lucerne. He's been of tremendous importance to me on matters of very grave consequence. However, I want you to call him, or rather cable him, and tell him to fly down here at once.
Tell him we're in the Republic of Godadagüe.
You are made up of molecules and atoms. Everybody is. Yours happen to have greater density. They're packed more closely together, giving you your super strength and making it impossible for you to be injured or hurt.
That's not how molecular structure works, but please continue.
I see. Now let me understand this. If I can expand my atomic structure by driving the molecules farther apart, then separate them.
There might be two of you.
Neither of them will discuss how he's supposed to do this to his molecules. Basically, intense concentration is all it takes. I told you this was going to get weird. And there are a few problems associated with doing this.
If you do separate into two, then each of you will be only half as strong and only half as powerful.
Then I would guess half as intelligent as well, and it turned out that was the case. Superman did the thing, split in two, then both halves forgot why they did that and sat down to play with their toes. Within a week, they were both calling the guard Uncle Dada.
Sometimes a theory may work one way, but not in reverse. If you do separate into two, it may be impossible for you to fuse yourself together again into one single Superman.
Which is preferable, one Superman or two almost Supermen? This gives the expression beside yourself a whole new meaning. Since they're both only at half strength now, it'll take both of them to get the bars off the window. As quick as one of them slips out, the other puts the bars back as though nothing is wrong. That guard has to know his presence there is purely academic. If this guy decides to break out, the best thing to do is stay out of his way. At the presidential palace, El Presidente knows who's behind the attempt on his life, and he knows what to do about it. Yeah, arrest him. I'm sure a search of his home will turn up all the evidence you need. No, he has a different idea.
In a day or two, I shall dissolve my government and ask for a new election. That will put Senor O'Brien out of office.
But it will put you out, too.
Yes. But it will also let me campaign for the truth. The voters can decide whether to re-elect me for honest government or replace me with a scoundrel like O'Brien.
He and everybody else knows he'll win a new election easily and with a different vice president. But I already pointed out that he has all he needs to arrest both O'Brien and Gonzalez based on the same law they used to arrest Superman. He may be a good and benevolent leader, but he's a little slow on the uptake. Half Superman arrives at Clark's hotel room just as Perry and Lois are leaning on the doorbell. Time for a quick change.
I suppose you've been wandering the streets all day, dazed by the bomb.
Well, I was a little close to it when it exploded.
Well, you better take it easy for a day or two, Kent.
Oh, by all means, rest your little shattered nerves.
Thing is, when he says he's not feeling well, he's telling the truth for a change. He can fly, but it takes everything out of him, and by the time he lands, he can barely stand. He's so weak. Lois has an interview with the vice president, and she wants to see if she can finagle him into admitting something.
Well, thank you for the interview, Senor O'Brien.
Welcome.
Oh, just one more question.
Of course.
If President Patillo dissolves his government and calls for a new election, would you run against him?
My dear young woman, I would not dream of opposing our beloved president.
That wasn't too bright, which is par for the course for Lois, as we've seen over and over. Now O'Brien knows what the president is planning, and he knows where that will leave him. He can't let this happen. The following day, the president is taking Lois and Perry on an inspection tour of the mines. For reasons that I will never understand, he's taking them to an abandoned mine rather than one that's actually producing something. How that's supposed to show the country's prosperity and natural resources, you figure it out. I gave up.
Are you sure the dynamite is properly planted and that there is a sufficient quantity?
More than enough, Excellency, to seal off that tunnel for 100 years.
And nothing can save them. Nothing but Superman.
He has Felipe call the guard on a radio to make sure Superman is still in his cell. Then O'Brien pushes the plunger.
What was that?
Sounded like dynamite. Oh, no!
There's no way out and no way for fresh air to get in. This could be a problem. It's time for O'Brien to go back to the city and take power. He's already spread some rumors that Superman escaped and was planning another attempt on the president, so that should cover their tracks.
Now we must go to the prison to make sure he stays there. If he were actually to escape, he might yet rescue the president.
I shudder to think what might happen to us if such a thing came to pass. But of course, such a thing is impossible.
Of course. Vámonos.
I don't know if they forgot it or if they left it there to try and implicate Superman, but if that's what they're doing, they forgot one little thing. Why would Superman need dynamite?
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this music program to bring you an important news report. There has been an explosion at the San Gabriel mine. President Patillo is trapped at the bottom of a shaft. 1 mile deep. With him are 2 newspaper people from the United States, Senor Perry White and Senorita Lois Lane, as well as 2 bodyguards.
Semi-Superman flies out there, but by the time he arrives, he's too weak even to pick up an average-sized rock. He can see the group with his X-ray vision, but he can't do anything about their predicament.
Excellency. The prisoner is still here?
Yes, senor. And I have a strange feeling about this Superman.
What do you mean?
He does not act as a powerful man. The mob outside worries him.
He says, when I jokingly pointed my rifle at him, he acted afraid. The guard is beginning to suspect this guy is a fraud, that the Superman thing is all hype and he's just a regular guy.
What would you say if I were to tell you that I'm considering ordering your release?
I would say that you have no authority to do so.
But I do have the authority as President of the Republic.
He explains why he's president, and now Superman is paying attention. O'Brien says, if you can break through these bars, I'll order your release. Of course he can't.
You have my permission to leave whenever you wish. Open the door. You see, you can walk out the front door a free man.
Yes, I can walk out the front door a free man, as you said, right into the arms of your mob. Or I can leave by that window.
I'm afraid you can't. The bars on the window are at least as strong as these.
Uh-huh. But I had some help with those.
That's right. When someone said help yourself, he took it literally. He's out the window and gone, but not before one of the guards stings him in the butt with a bullet. He finds himself out at the mine, still too weak to be of any help.
Well, as Lois Lane would say, boy, am I glad to see you. It has been a little rugged, hasn't it? Professor Lucerne was right all the way.
I know people say you're crazy when you talk to yourself, but by great Caesar's ghost, there's nobody else around here sane enough to talk to.
They compare notes and realize they'll have to become one person again, if they can. As if that's even a question. Now about those people trapped down below.
It sounds like machinery digging.
I know this is supposed to be serious, but come on. At least get a decent artist who can make it look halfway real. Milton Caniff was doing the wildly popular comic strip Steve Canyon at the time, and his artwork was about as realistic as it was going to get. Hire him whatever he charges. If this is the best you could get, keep the camera on the hole he went into and spray a bunch of dust and debris out of it. The first time I watched this for reviewing, I was really into the story. Until that point. Talk about a jarring exit.
It's Superman!
Just take it easy, folks. I've just dug a new tunnel. The fresh air will revive you in no time. Then we'll all go out.
Back in the city, the new El Presidente isn't wasting any time.
This document places the mines under our personal control. From now on, the money will go into our pockets instead of the national treasury.
That's why you are wrong, senores.
President Patillo.
And Superman.
Yes, Superman. Not only did he rescue us, but you may be interested to know that in digging a new tunnel to reach us, he uncovered a new vein of ore worth millions of dollars.
None of which will be going into their pockets because, see that plunger? Their fingerprints are all over it, which is enough to have them arrested and probably much, much worse. This is a family show, so we won't talk about the much, much worse. If you look this episode up on IMDb, you'll be hard-pressed to find out who played President Patillo. He's not listed at all. They do, however, list a Professor Bateo, who never appears in the episode. You can figure out the rest. His stage name was Donald Lawton. He was from what is now Belarus, and I'm not going to dishonor him by trying to mispronounce his birth name. Suffice to say, he was a Russian who immigrated to the U.S. and played that South American politician, the unforgettable what's-his-name. Hey friends, if you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up button and let me and YouTube know it. If you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. And remember, you can become a patron of this channel for as little as $2 a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sweet.